Big Blue Thumb Productions presents the Podlie Podcast. Here's your hosts, Podlie Bill, Podlie Cliff, and Podlie Paul. Here we are. It's Epi 18 of the Podlie Podcast.
18! Welcome!
We're legal now.
We're legal now. Full-fledged adulthood.
We're actually
does that mean
18.
18? Does that mean we start to swear or no?
I guess we could.
I guess so, eh?
Yeah.
So perhaps instead of Epi 18, it's FN 18.
Yeah, it must be. And we always know when Cliff is here because we can hear Cliff's
Because he's the one who uses the F words.
audio from the podcast too.
Listen, I try to use the alphabet whenever I can, okay?
Is that like KFD?
At least 4 letters of it.
It's like KFD.
KFD, or it's this.
That's right.
Mark. I am S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R.
I am so smart.
Yes, we're all so smart. So, how was everybody's week?
Okay. Well, Paulie.
Hello! Had a good week.
Did you know?
I had a good week. Last week you asked me the same question. I had nothing. This week I had a really good thing. I went out to Airdrie, which is just outside of Calgary, did a day-long film shoot. It's a co-production between Australia and Canada, and I was very
Nice.
I was very happy to. I think there's going to be distribution out of Australia, I think, but I was very, very happy to be invited by a good friend of mine, an actor friend of mine. Just some background work, but it was a lot of fun. Met some great people. Had a little bit of a road trip, so it was a lot of fun. I was a military man, so.
You were a military
I was
man.
a military man. Actually,
Wow.
I got to drive a police car.
Nice.
Which was kind of fun.
A military police car.
I can scratch that off my bucket list. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get stuck?
It was a good no. I didn't get that one stuck. As I pulled up today before the podcast, I got myself stuck a little bit. So, but we're all good. No, it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. A good friend of mine drove, and we had a nice talk on the way there and back.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well,
It was a good day.
excellent. And welcome, Shauna. Shauna has joined us.
Hi, Shauna.
Shauna!
Hello, Shauna.
So, a friend of yours drove.
Yep. You got it.
So, not the car. The
No.
friend drove.
Friend drove.
Okay, I'm just segueing.
his
Was it,
car.
yeah, I'm getting was it a driveless car?
Fellow actor.
driverless
fellow actor. Excellent guy. Excellent guy.
Was he worth his weight in metal? I don't know.
Well, it's kind of funny that you say
it
that
heavy
because
metal?
he's 6'9".
Wow.
So worth his weight. I'm not too sure if he's worth his weight, but he's a big boy.
It was heavy metal.
He's a
Heavy
big
metal.
boy. So
All depends.
What about
Yeah.
you there, Mr. Cliff? How was your day?
Oh, I don't know. This week and weekend and everything just went by and boom, it was just a blink and it was gone.
Fast?
Yeah. Hey, may as well start the process, right? Ravenwood.
Yes.
Woo!
You know,
Ravenwood Experience.
Ravenwood Experience, the Ravenwood Festival.
Festival.
We talked about that on Saturday, so so I was involved in that, of course, and that takes up some time.
Yes.
I don't know what all I did. My brain is a little bit mush.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that happens on
Yeah.
a weekend, doesn't it? Just goes by and you don't realize.
So fast.
Just blink
what
and
did
it
I
was
do?
gone, right? So, but it went by very quickly, and all of a sudden Monday was here, and Monday went by in literally the blink of an eye. Work was very busy, had no time to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And then today it was just nice. It was a kind of a steady pace.
So
You know,
a
it
bit-
almost
morning and
it almost feels like we just left here after doing it from last week.
yeah,
I mean,
went
it
by
just
so quickly.
flies by
It does.
so fast.
Yeah. It
You
seems
know.
like we never left the table.
But
I know, right?
Hey, no complaints.
That's a
I love
long
it here.
podcast.
That's a long bloody podcast.
Welcome to the.
So I was just going to say, so in other words, it's like, good evening and welcome to the middle of the podcast.
Again.
What about you, Bill?
Yeah, same kind of thing. Just a kind of a busy, steady week after we did last week's podcast, and same thing. Weekend had a few things to do and get done, and again we had a meeting about Ravenwood, and before you know it, it was Monday.
So give us a little bit of a
we're
hint.
back at work.
What exactly is Ravenwood Experience for everybody that does not know?
Ravenwood Experience is a music festival that had its first year last year, 2019, in Sherwood Park, outdoor music festival. It's put on by the Music Society of Strathcona County. So we're now in the process of working on Ravenwood Experience 2020 and figuring out what that's going to look like, and in the midst of trying to get some more funds together, et cetera, et cetera. So if our listeners know of any businesses that might want to sponsor or maybe give some funds to this outdoor music festival, which last year was an amazing success, and we had some great acts and some great music, and that's what we hope that we're going to be able to pull off.
I think the best part of but last year's though had to be the MC. I think
Who
the
was
MC, that MC guy.
that
I tell
MC
you,
guy?
who was that MC guy? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Were the initials CS?
Well, yeah,
Something like that.
Something like that,
CS.
yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, because
Cliff something.
last year I hadn't met you guys, and I walked into the Ravenwood Experience as a representative and a writer of the Edmonton News, virtual arts, business, culture, and sports magazine that I work for. Hi, Shauna, by the way. And didn't know you gents, didn't know the Ravenwood Experience because, well, it was the inaugural year. And I got to tell you, man, you guys pulled off a gem. It was unbelievable. I brought my kids shucked and jived till the better part of midnight last year. It was unbelievable.
Was that shucking oysters?
Oh,
didn't have
we were
oysters there.
no. We were shucking and jive.
Nice.
It was an absolute blast. It was so much fun, kind and
Excellent.
considerate, and the atmosphere was unbelievable. I'm jacked, and I got thank you, because you have officially invited me on as part of the Ravenwood Experience,
And along with Mr.
this
Cliff here as
year.
well.
what do you mean?
So I'm honored, I'm privileged, I'm humbled to actually be a small cog in the Ravenwood Experience machine this year. So thank you for that, because I mean I'm jacked for this year, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
We've got a Saint Elsewhere.
Have a Saint Elsewhere. Hey, I like Saint Elsewheres. They're awesome.
Shauna feels, well, you are welcome, Shauna. You are welcome here. She
Well,
feels
well,
so
well.
welcome. I feel so welcome. Shauna.
We love you, darling.
Yes.
And
Welcome
hey,
to the
whoa,
podcast.
wait a minute. Hold the phone. Where's that Jesse person?
Yeah,
Where's
Shauna, phone Jesse.
Toms?
Get her on
I'll be
there.
listening in. And we haven't got Marvin on board yet, and
Unbelievable.
Oh, I've got a special surprise for Marvin once he gets on. I got a special surprise for Marvin, so we'll wait till he jumps on, assuming that he's going to jump on.
You're not gonna.
No. We'll keep it as a surprise when he jumps on. But,
Nothing to do with polls, does it?
No, boy, nuts.
And the time traveler.
Y'all are
doesn't
getting a
seem to be
little
on time.
creepy over there, I tell you.
That funny. The time traveler's never on time.
Never on time. The bastard. Or,
Yes.
bastardess.
Sean is gonna harass. I'll harass Jesse.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Heidi Bobidi.
Heidi Bobidi.
Ta-da.
You're kidding. I wonder who that is.
Who's Heidi Bobidi?
Heidi Bobidi.
So,
Well.
Epi 18. And
Epi 18.
We have a topic that basically Cliff had kind of brought up last show, so we decided we'd make it our topic tonight: artificial intelligence.
Nice. Artificial intelligence.
So it's
now,
amazing,
I don't
right?
know, though, now, right? I mean, just the very term artificial. I mean, does that mean it's fake? Fake intelligence?
Fake intelligence.
Right.
So Heidi Bobidi, just hang on, sorry here.
Sorry. No,
I know a
Says,
few guys with
just so
fake
you know,
intelligence.
I did, in capital letters, listen to your last show. You said that I didn't. We did?
Did I?
Heidi, did we say that you didn't listen to our last show? Actually, well, we did mention it's good that you're here with us, though. and I have listened to your podcast, Heidi.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show, Heidi Bobidi.
Heidi Bobidi.
And now we have Horse with No Mane, I'm assuming that is.
Horse with no mane.
Has joined us as well.
I like it.
Heidi said at the start, yeah, we did mention, Heidi, that sometimes we thought maybe you didn't listen. We take that back now.
Okay.
We will take that back, and we'll make sure.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to mention on the podcast. I'm sorry, on Arts Talk. We shoot
Right.
an Arts Talk episode
Tomorrow
night, Wednesday night, February 26th. So Heidi will make sure to mention that.
And I think, seeing as
We
though
got lots of
Heidi
listeners tuning in.
has graced us with her presence on our podcast, I think we should show Heidi some sunshine and throw a little sunshine her way with her podcast as well.
Yes, we're sending sunshine your way, Heidi. Can you see the beams?
Can you see the beams?
See the beams right now. And
So the name of her podcast is
Unstoppable Grace.
There you go, Unstoppable Grace
There we go.
podcast.
Well,
in
we
which
got another
Heidi
elsewhere.
is in on us tonight on our podcast, and make sure you guys sign on and listen to Unstoppable Grace
And
podcast.
Heidi types fast because she's gotten way ahead of Shauna here, and Horse with No Mane.
Horse with
We've
No
got a
Mane.
Saint Elsewhere. So our listeners are building up here. That's awesome. Unstoppable Grace podcast. Thank you, Heidi. Bobaidi.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go,
Heidi
Unstoppable
Bobaidi.
Grace podcast.
That's right.
Heidi, thanks for tuning in for us.
Yes, you're. It's good to have you here, and I like your name, Heidi Bobaidi. Anyway, let's get back to our topic: artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that was just the first thing that came to mind when you said artificial intelligence, right? I'm thinking to myself, I mean, does that mean it's fake because it's artificial? What does that mean exactly?
Is our intelligence artificial?
Well, could very
as
well be.
Podlie's?
As Podlies.
Do we
A
have
lot of
artificial
people,
intelligence?
a lot of people might claim we don't have intelligence. Period. After half the things that we say,
Yeah, let
but,
alone fake, right?
Yes. So, artificial intelligence, it's growing. It's all around us. It's nonstop. It's
everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's already entrenched.
We've got driverless cars. We've got, like it's slowly starting to basically encroach, take over things,
Right.
take over jobs from the human.
Right.
So what do you guys think?
Okay, so my question is, when you hear the term artificial intelligence, gentlemen, what type of connotation, what type of feeling does that give you? Because that gives me a feeling of impenetrable doom, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
Call me a pessimist, but so, what kind of emotion does that give you guys when you hear the term artificial intelligence? Because I got to be honest with you, I was in computers in high school. I never heard that term at all, and I just think that's quite scary.
Okay, but the term notwithstanding, artificial intelligence has been around with us for some time now.
It has.
Right? I mean, I tell you what, these are all just at the top of my head. You wouldn't be able to fly a jet if it wasn't for artificial intelligence, right?
True.
That's
you
true.
You wouldn't be able to fly, the stealth.
The pilots would have to stay awake the whole time.
That is true.
The stealth bomber that I mean it wouldn't fly. It just wouldn't, right?
Yes.
The stealth bomber, you can't fly it without artificial intelligence, right?
Yes.
And I could be speaking out of the side of my mouth. I know nothing of that, but it's just something that I picked up from listening to the news and whatnot.
Sure.
But the fact of the matter is, it's been around and it's been with us for many, many years. The iterations of AI are far greater now as an actual force in our lives, and obviously will become far greater still as we move into the future.
Right.
Right.
For me, I don't think AI, it doesn't scare me.
No.
I think maybe there are people out there that for them it is a concern. Is it going to start taking away from humans doing a job, for an example?
That's what worries me, Bill.
Even somewhere, let's say a factory, for instance, where they use AI to do all the picking of merchandise, et cetera, off of whatever. They don't need a human to do that anymore.
Well, right now, for instance, Amazon,
yes.
Amazon's warehouses run pretty much, in the absence of humans, right?
True.
So,
But it doesn't
Go into a grocery
doesn't scare me.
store. Go into a grocery store, and this is what happens. This is what has happened. I believe, well, at least it has happened to my neighborhood Walmart. They have taken out all of the most of the cashier manned tills, and they've installed them with do-it-yourselfers.
okay, but even that's going to change.
So self-checkouts.
Self-checkouts.
Okay, but self-checkouts are just a stopgap.
That's a stopgap, yeah. But it doesn't.
I agree.
And you make a point. And I actually had a discussion with somebody about this just the other day because it was brought up to me that, same kind of a point. Well, self-checkouts, now people are going to start losing their jobs. No, they're not actually, because self-checkouts still have to be manned. You still have to have somebody there monitoring those self-checkouts. Right. Those self-checkouts still have to have input into them for computer-wise.
Not
so
long.
there's somebody doing that. But you still have to have, there's usually one or two people always manning those self-checkouts.
Right.
Because if you or I go up and we have a problem with it or it freezes or whatever, you always
But when
have
you
somebody
used to
manning it.
have 10 manned checkouts, you had 10 men. You had 10 people manning.
Yep.
You had one each. Now you've got one, maybe
Okay.
two people manning those 10
Okay,
checkouts.
so Paul, just hold on here, okay? Let's stop it down for a second now, right? Go back to Henry Ford and the invention of the Ford
Assembly
motor.
line.
Okay,
Yep,
up
sure.
the assembly line. All right. Back then, there was a very similar thing happening from the time that the people were on the assembly line, right? And all of it slowly it builds to the fact all of a sudden the assembly line becomes all computerized and all robots, etc. That currently is the way in any factory you look at.
Yes.
Most of the assembly is monitored by humans, but done by electronics, right? So in every generation, in every iteration of technology, the fear has been that technology is going to eliminate humans. It's been like that way since the inception of time.
Correct.
All right.
Cliff,
So I wanted to go back to the board here and read what Heidi says. Heidi says something very interesting, and perhaps I would digress from her anyway. I would probably not agree with you, Heidi. But Heidi says, I don't think it'll ever become sentient. And I guess I in some way I do agree with you, Heidi, because sentience has a definition and has a connotation of having a soul. Nonetheless, I don't think they become sentient, she says, and I don't think technology will ever get to the complexity that occurs in humans on a cellular level. Heidi, I would love to sit down with you and discuss just that one sentence that you've put on there, because I tell you what, I think I could have a discussion with somebody for like 9 hours on that one phrase that you've put on the screen right now.
And I like Shauna's comment. Shauna said, I feel fine about artificial intelligence. The issue is whether the humans will use it wisely, which is somewhat true, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it depends how...
Are the
how
humans,
far do you take it?
Okay, but
World
wait a-
domination.
Are the humans going to use it, or is it going to use the humans?
Humans.
Eventually, I think it could become where it starts using the humans.
Well, it could be, right? Okay.
Eventually.
All right. So the one thing I'd like to say, probably the only thing I've thought of since we thought about having this discussion.
Yes.
Actually, haven't had no time to think about it. But the only thing I've thought of is that I think we think in terms of dystopia or utopia.
Right. Exactly.
We think in terms of the future of AI is utopia for some,
Right.
and dystopia for others.
Yes.
Okay, but I would suggest that a discussion like this couldn't possibly encompass those extremes.
Right.
I think we should stick somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
If you look at what Heidi says about it becoming sentient, that
Yes.
is the extreme. All right, and you know what? I would love to chat with that on someday. But what about now? What about the implications in the next 20 years?
We're seeing, we are seeing a lot of it now with driverless cars, etc. And I'm just jumping. We've got a lot of listeners that have joined.
Oh,
in.
this is awesome!
Love it,
so
you
Time
guys.
Traveler, welcome, Time Traveler. We've got a couple of Saint Elsewheres, so some other people listening in.
Welcome,
who
Saints.
We don't know who they are. A Time Traveler here has popped in and says, "Time travel was great before artificial intelligence ruined it. Now there's more robot traffic and bumper-to-bumper time machines during rush hour." Well, of course, Time
Stay in
Traveler.
your own lane.
Yeah, just don't tailgate everybody, Time Traveler.
Just pick a lane, pal.
Yeah, give them some room for crying out loud.
And a horse with no mane. We're not sure who you are, but thank you for joining us. We appreciate that.
Yeah, it's good to see so many listeners. So
That's
let's
right.
let's continue with that thought, but we need to take a quick break.
Sure.
And then we'll come back and continue with this thought. We'll be right back.
Wonderful.
After this.
After this. Oh, time's going.
Who doesn't love a clean house? Who loves to clean their house? Well, not everyone. Why not let Park Maid do the cleaning for you? Park Maid will provide executive quality cleaning at reasonable rates. All staff are insured and fully bonded. Environmentally friendly products are used and the best of care is taken to ensure your house is spotless. Reliable quality and executive service. No need to clean your house ever again. Park Maid does the work for you so you can relax. Book an appointment. It's easy. Call Park Maid today, 780-504-PARK, or visit parkmaid.com. All right, we're back. So
Wow, I can't believe how fast the time is going.
it is.
Yeah.
It's going by quick, right? So, yeah, the thing with driverless cars that can park themselves now, you just sit back and the car parallel
It's
parks.
been around for like 10
That
years
does
already.
not sound
But
safe
but
to
now
me.
it's way more sophisticated. You
Wow.
can you can buy cars now. Before 10 years ago, it was still in the testing phases.
Right.
Right. But now it's fully out there.
It's fully
you
out
can,
there.
You can buy it. You
Oh,
can
it's
use it.
out there, baby.
You can sit. Tesla. You can sit in a Tesla and let it drive down the highway for you.
Sure.
So
I tell you what, I talked about the in-between. It's the in-between that scares me when it comes to driverless cars. If you give me all humans or all AI driving, I'm good. It's the in-between where you have
Right.
the combination of humans and AI, of automatic driving cars and humans together on the road. That's the scary part.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the intangibles of driving, the deer across the street, the what ifs,
all of these.
I just can't.
All of those are completely tangible.
Man.
see, it depends. Like even
it scares me. It scares me putting a computer in the hands of intangibles like that, I don't think they're tangible at all. I think it's very intangible.
Dude, there are like so many points of information coming to the computer on a self-driving car. This is just not. This is. I think you need to do a little bit of research, Paulie.
It will brake automatically. For an example, even in my car, I've got AI in my car.
Yeah.
When I go to cruise control,
Oh, yeah.
it automatically brakes for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to touch the brake. It brakes for me.
Paulie,
or my car tells me to brake.
Right. Paulie, think about it. You're talking about a deer on the road. Dude, I tell you what, infrared sensors would sense that deer 1,000 times faster than you'll ever see it. And it will slow down the vehicle and do all of those types of things and probably send out a little pulse at the hearing of the level of the deer to get it the hell out of the way.
I guess AI can malfunction as much as humans can. I guess.
Not as much, dude.
I don't know.
Not as much.
Yeah.
The propensity for human error is vastly exaggerated in comparison to anything that AI could make.
Yeah.
And as they're designing, these are all things that they will have thought of. You know, they're
Call
going to
me
think
a
about.
skeptic.
They're going to think about things. If you're in a driverless car, the designers are going to be thinking about that. Everything that you could encounter on the road. If it's a deer, if it's a moose, if it's whatever, they're going to think about it, right?
Oh yeah, it's all there.
Now, granted, is it completely foolproof?
Well, no.
Maybe not 100%.
No, nothing is foolproof.
there's-
Wait a minute. Is it going to be run on
Because
Windows
there's
10?
always going to be intangibles.
I don't know.
If it's going to be run on Windows 10, it's going to suck. Just saying.
I have no idea what that means.
So yeah,
I just the intangibles. It's and there's always gonna be intangibles.
Okay,
Cliff.
see,
There are.
Heidi says that, but AI in vehicles could get bugs and viruses to create a danger. I think there are dangers either way. Absolutely true, Heidi.
Yeah.
But I will tell you something. We've been flying planes for a great many years.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm telling you, we've always had the propensity, if not worse, for viruses and bugs. And I'm telling you, the amount of times that planes have crashed because of that only now is becoming slightly evident, right? As the technologies have gotten greater, like with Boeing, etc. But the fact of the matter is, we've had these technologies. The technologies have actually gotten better. And even though we wish to think in terms that these are so terrible, if you actually look at the numbers in the history, we've done pretty damn good with AI thus far.
yeah, it has done well,
Right.
It's. I'm excited about it. Like I'm not really concerned per se because
I think we've done well because we still have a certain control over it.
Do we now?
Yeah, I think we still have a certain control over it, and I'm just waiting for the time where that shifts. You know,
One of the scariest thing I ever heard, Paulie, and this will agree with this is where I possibly agree with you. Elon Musk, I love listening to him. He's such a great guy.
I'm reading his book right now.
Oh, which one? What's it called?
I just got it. It's the latest. It's not the latest one. I'm trying to remember. It's just Elon Musk on the cover.
He's an amazing guy, and he says if AI went bad, his biggest fear is AI, right? And he says, just think about the worst dictator you've ever seen in life in our world, and now think of that dictator as being immortal.
yeah.
Oh, boom, chakalaka.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if that doesn't
Stick that in your nightmare and smoke it.
right, so if that doesn't solidify in a person's mind the potential danger, I don't know what else will, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think Matrix, for those who have ever seen the movie The Matrix. It's amazing.
And you talked about AI being in planes. There's not a new jet, Boeing, whatever it is out there that does not use AI.
Absolutely.
But there have been failures on some of those
In the last couple of
in the
years,
past
yeah.
couple of years that has been caused by the AI,
Right.
with computers completely failing or telling the plane. One of the crashes happened because the plane was told it was either too low or too high, so the plane itself was adjusting. But what it was doing was it was dropping the altitude of the plane instead of increasing the altitude, and they lost control.
Right.
And I would hazard to think, and again, this is my opinion. This is not at all factual. This is my opinion. I hazard to think that most aviation accidents are human error caused. Are they not?
They can be.
I'll bet you most of them probably have.
Okay, so
been.
now we're vacillating there, Mr. Paulie. Just
know
a
what I
moment
mean?
ago, you said you don't trust AI, or you do because
Well,
there's still human control.
No. This is just devil's advocate. I actually think that most aviation accidents are human error. Are they not?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
AI is actually
They've aided the process. I think in that respect in aviation, if we're talking about aviation,
Okay.
I think AI has really helped.
Okay. And you know what?
That industry, I think.
I mean, it's limitless the amount of discussion we could have how AI has actually come, and helped us from the technological standpoint. But do you guys want to take it into the semantic realm? I mean, how is AI going to affect us humans? No, I'm not talking, necessarily flying planes and all type of stuff, but I'm talking, from a philosophical, from an ethical standpoint. Perhaps one area. Another area is just assume for one small second. I'll ask you this: just assume all your physical needs, like your food and water and all of these things, and life and living and shelter was all taken care of. What could you as a human being accomplish if you had all the time that you never had to do the mundane things in life?
You'd be living on Mars at that point.
Well, maybe. But what would you do with your mind and body and soul and spirit?
Well, if I didn't have to clear my own dishwasher, I'd be able to watch an extra episode of Seinfeld, pretty much.
Really? That's it? That's the goal?
See, I don't know.
That's it? That's the aspiration?
See, for me, if AI started taking care of cooking of all the food and everything, I wouldn't like. Because then I'd feel like I'm just being pushed away.
No, but wait a minute, though. The fact of the matter is, I'm saying if you had a choice, I mean, obviously do the things you love to do, right?
Yeah.
But this is my point. If AI was available to do all the things that were necessary to do, and you were free to do the things you love, to what level could we humans rise?
Yeah, there could be some growth there for sure. Sorry, I was laughing before because a time traveler says, or someone could hack the radio and play a song you really hate over and over again.
Now that would suck.
Horse with the Mane says, OMG, time traveler, my wife is AI. It all makes sense now. Shauna says, so here's an answer for you, Cliff. Shauna says it gives you more time for creative pursuits.
Yes.
Which is true.
Do you know what, Shauna? And that's part of my question, right? Is that to the level of which we humans could rise is obviously currently dictated by the time that we have. And the fact of the matter is we need to look after ourselves to earn a living, blah, blah, all the necessities of life. And my point is, if we had AI to do the things that were not advancing the human mind and the human soul and the human spirit.
Right.
If we had AI to do those things, assuming that they never reach sentience, because if they did, then that would be usury.
Yes.
So assuming Heidi is correct and they never reach sentience, and they were capable of doing all of the tasks that we don't need to do, then the mind and the body and the spirit of the human being, to what level could we rise that? To what level could we raise that?
Heidi's saying the same thing. Our brains would be more open for creativity. So I guess
Correct.
when you look at it from that perspective,
Right.
yes, you'd have a lot more freedom.
Right, to create.
But would we
create,
not just
yes.
become lazy?
Well, some of us would.
Depends on your creativity.
Would we not just shut down?
Some of us would.
There might be some that'll become couch potatoes, but if you're a creative
There are
person,
couch potatoes now.
yeah, if you're a creative person that opens up to that more, you might even be busier than you ever were before.
Sure.
Oh, man.
And the other thing is, think about right now, there are human beings who have the capability to think of something that our current puny little minds couldn't possibly imagine. And that person, his only limitation or her only limitation could be that they have to work for a living and they have to live, to work, to
They gotta
survive.
pay the bills.
Yeah.
Right? But if they didn't have to work to survive, their brain might be right now in an embryonic stage of thinking of one of the best ideas that is ever known to humanity. Right? So in my mind, the utopia part of this would be that, AI looks after all the necessities of life
Yes.
and frees us to be able to enhance our minds, our souls, and our spirits, and all these wonderful things.
For sure. Well, Heidi, on 2 occasions here, has said it would become like the movie Wall-E. And now she's saying Wall-E again in capital letters.
I gotta tell you, if that were the case, I'd be in. I would be in.
Hello, Jesse Toms. Welcome to the show.
Well. Hello, Jess. Is the little one in bed now?
Yes, nice to see. And it is almost the middle of the podcast. Well done.
Jesse Toms, the Edmonton Muse, the
Welcome
new
to
issue.
the middle of the podcast.
The March issue
right.
comes out next week, the first Wednesday in March. So
Hold on. Just one
the
sec,
Edmonton
Paulie.
Muse.
Good evening and welcome to the middle of the podcast. That should be the gig now. At 30 minutes is good evening and welcome to the middle of the podcast.
That should be. A time traveler says Wall E was good. I also enjoyed Walls A to D.
Wall-E to D, yeah. But Wall-E was an awesome movie, right? And I mean, if you look at it, it was great.
Wow, look at all the listeners we've got
Oh, it's
lining
awesome.
up here now.
Love
It's
it,
great.
you guys.
We
Welcome.
need somebody to come on there and have the nickname Wall-E and then Eva.
That's right. Shauna says a superhero has arrived. Well,
That would be Jesse
That would
Toms.
be Jesse Toms, the superhero. Good to have everybody on board. So
Nice.
I guess when you look at add it to your soundboard, Bill. Yes, Heidi.
That's right.
And Heidi has the exact same soundboard for her podcast
Oh,
that
nice.
we use for ours.
We need a Eva.
Yes, yes. So AI. Jesse runs an online magazine, the Edmonton
Right.
News. Even so, and you start looking at AI being able to, a simple form of artificial intelligence being ways that you can go on and search something, and
googly woogly.
Google will recommend
Right.
2.3
articles
seconds,
for
it's
you,
up, you're
and
in.
recommend things for you. That's
Right.
that's AI. That's the simple form of it, right?
You know what's kind of funny?
So
I was at
find
my folks' place. Sorry to interrupt, Bill. I was at my folks' place this evening. It's my dad's birthday. Dad, happy 73rd. God love you. And I looked downstairs, and we were in the family room. My folks still have 2 sets of each and every volume of their encyclopedia that they bought in the 80s. They have every single volume. They have A strictly all to Z, and they've got 2. They've got Britannica and another one, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, 25, 30 years later, all of that information that is, 40 pounds heavy and thousands and thousands and thousands of pages, I can get in 2.3 seconds at the end of my fingers right now as I look at my phone. Like, it's just absolutely incredible what has happened in 25 years. Because I remember as a kid, I did my studying with encyclopedias. I'd open the book and I'd look for C for China, or,
Go to the
Z
library
for
to
zebra.
research.
That's exactly right. Now, all I need is my phone. It's unbelievable.
Funny thing, as you said that, as I said, I started reading this book on Elon Musk.
Right. Yeah.
And as a kid, he was a huge reader. Like, he would read all the time, so much so that he would just zone out when people would talk to him, and he wouldn't even hear them. He'd
That's
be
right.
just so. But he started reading encyclopedias because he would get bored of reading other books. So he would read a whole encyclopedia and
mom.
literally memorize everything that was in that encyclopedia. So his own family said it would get annoying because you'd be sitting at the dinner table and somebody would say something, and he'd spout off a fact out of the encyclopedia saying, "Well, no, this is what it means," and he'd pop up the meaning that was in the encyclopedia. Right?
Unbelievable.
So Jessie says like this. She wants to hear this.
That's a big blue thumb.
Nice.
There you go, Jessie. That's the big blue
That's
thumb
the big
for
blue
you.
thumb.
I don't know if I'm still giving the big blue thumb to AI, though. It kind of scares me.
Again, like I said, I'm excited about it. I think there's a lot of good things that it can do. I guess if you take it to the flip side, there will be some things that are being designed that will help with war and destruction and things as well.
Right.
That's probably not so good. But
Yeah. Do you know what the thing is? It's such a big thing to discuss, right? Because even war, you can take it even. Okay, assume AI and the drones and everything else you use for war. If you have the right people at the helm, that could be used to preserve the peace versus actually create destruction, right?
Right.
So there's always 2 sides to every coin, and I think that's where we start with the question of, how does ethics factor into AI, right?
right. What does horse with no mane say
Well,
there?
Horse with no mane says, don't even have to Google stuff. Just ask your friendly AI Alexa.
Alexa,
and
that's
same
it.
thing with Google. That's what Google is.
That's completely
That's
true.
it.
Okay, do you guys know what DeepMind is?
Tell us.
DeepMind is I didn't know this, but DeepMind actually is currently an AI system that is 100%, that has 100% administrator access to all of Google's databases.
Right.
100%. So this is an AI system, DeepMind,
Yes.
that has administrator access to the entire Google network of servers.
Right. Wow.
How does that strike you?
That's yeah. It's mind-boggling, really.
And mine, scary.
It's scary. Yeah, it's scary.
Just quickly, we have to go to another break, but I just want to read what Heidi here wrote. So she says, even though we now have access to all this information in the world and can learn almost anything, most people use the internet for social media and entertainment. So the potential is there, but underused. It's likely a similar path would be paved for AI.
Possibly, Heidi.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Think
You
about
make a
that.
good
Food for
point.
thought.
Think about that. We're going to go to a quick break.
Hi, this is Jessie Toms, founder and CEO of the Edmonton News. We are a proud advertising sponsor of the Podlie podcast. We cover the ABCs of YEG, local arts, business, and culture, and you can find us at www.edmontonnews.ca. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, it's hard to believe, as you said earlier, Cliff, how quick this
Time
show
is going fast.
is flying by on this discussion about AI. And again, welcome to all of our listeners that are on board with us. We've got Shauna, Heidi, Horse with No Mane, Time Traveler, Jessie Toms, some St. Elsewhere.
Couple of St. Elsewheres.
Yes, excellent discussion so far.
Question then, maybe you guys, you didn't take me up on the deep mind stuff.
Well,
we could discuss that, but
yeah.
What about social implications of AI?
It could have, and probably already has. I shouldn't say probably. I think it already has had some social implications, just in the way that it's affecting. Really, I think the way a lot of people think, because of the way things are now being done.
Right.
You know, we all use. Again, I'm just going to go back to probably simple AI here, but we all use the internet,
Right.
and there's just so much that we can find on the internet. The other thing that AI does, and we've all had it happen to us, you will look at something on the internet, but maybe it's a particular product, and then you go back to your Facebook page or whatever, and that product starts showing up.
Yeah, showing up.
Yeah.
there.
You know, so it's things like that.
Yeah.
That
Right.
it's like these messages that are getting
And you know
tossed
that,
at you.
and that's actually tipping into the social
That is.
engineering that perhaps will be the result of some of the AI, right? Because right now, for
Right.
instance, if you go and search Google, if you go and search a particular search key, Google decides what you see,
Right.
not you. You don't decide what you see.
No,
That's
you're,
it, yeah.
yeah, you're just.
And here's a question for you, right? If you search something, Paulie, if you search something, Bill,
Yeah.
okay, the top, let's say, 10 websites that come up to answer you,
Mm-hmm.
do you ever scroll past those and go to the,
I have.
right? I do too, right?
Yep.
But I tell you what, I bet you 90% of the people out there, that's why everybody
They
fights
pick
to
the
be in
top
that
three.
top 10, right?
Yeah.
So the top three,
Yeah.
most people will go to the top three search results.
They'll select that first one, right?
Right. So what happens now is Google is literally social engineering what information you see.
That's right. And
We've given them this ability to do that.
Yes.
ergo, the information that you see, ergo, the way that you think.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm going to kind of twist this and I'm going to throw out a question. Do you think social media is just plain old making us dumber? Do you think it's making us dumber?
You know what? I go back to what Heidi said earlier on. I think it's the way you use it that makes
I
you
think it really depends how you use it.
Generally, I'm generalizing, of course.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have to use it in a smart and responsible way.
Well, and Heidi's asking us a question here. She said, have you guys seen the movie Her? Socially, it could be weird. Artificial boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, etc. I have not seen that movie. So I don't know. She said, and she also goes on to say, in a near future, a lonely writer develops an unlikely relationship with an operating system designed to meet his every need.
Right.
There's actually a Big Bang Theory episode where Raj starts feeling like he's dating Suri.
Right.
That becomes his girlfriend. Suri.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, right now, you guys, I don't know. I tell you what, at this very moment, there are lifelike humans in places like Japan and Korea.
sure.
Absolutely.
And they are actually, they will be interacting with humans in a love type relationship. Perhaps not physical at the moment, but certainly mental and emotional.
Yes.
So-
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And they are so realistic. Horse with no mane. Hang on, let's go back to Shauna here. Shauna says social media has been an education. Horse with no mane and Sophia in your household will replace Alexa. Could become her.
Right.
Yeah, that could happen.
And I mean, hey, there was an Al Pacino movie a little while ago. I don't remember the name of it. Again, with the robot, fembot, whatever you call it.
With that premise.
With that same premise, right? I mean, these are sort of the imaginings of the creative minds as to where it can go. And often the imaginings of the creative mind literally create the future, right? I mean, you look at Gene Roddenberry,
for sure.
Look at the iPad. I mean, back, in the days of them, they were reading this information pad or tablet.
Right.
Well, guess what? Apple created. Now, can we say that the creative mind of Gene Roddenberry put the idea in the world? Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
So I think the creative minds of our world will dictate in many ways the future of AI, and I think it's incumbent upon the creative minds of our world to, be the ethical sort of guardians,
Right. And
of what's to come.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I just fear that there might be one or two that might take it the other way eventually.
And you know what? That I guess, you could say that of humans as much as you can say of AI. And if humans, that's the one thing, Paulie, I guess, is the dichotomy in what you're saying, right? At one point you're saying AI might go awry, but with humans control, you feel better. But the fact of the matter is the humans themselves in history are the ones that have caused the most damage.
That go awry. That's
Yes.
exactly right.
But AI, when they start to actually logicize, if that's a word, how the world works, believe it or not, you will get greater equilibrium in the world.
Right.
Than you will because there's a business case for it. Right now, okay, in 20 years, the top 1% will own more than two-thirds of the world's funds.
Right.
Wow.
Right? Okay, well, I tell you what then, but then the 1/3 of the world can't afford to buy the stuff that the 2/3 of the world are creating. So that those funds are going to be depleting pretty quick.
Yep.
Not to mention our world is dying, right?
Yeah.
So then AI comes in, and if you get a smart computer that says, hey, wait a minute, this is not in the best interest of longevity, they're going to make the changes. And they're going to make it with non-judgmental, non-emotional decisions.
Yeah.
Right? So in many ways, Bill, I'm with you, right? We can hope that believe it or not, that AI is actually going to be of a benefit to us. I'm not talking utopia. I'm not talking dystopia. I'm talking in the general middle.
Right. And I do think there will be benefits of it big time, which is why
we're already reaping some of the benefits.
Yeah. I'm that's why I say I'm more excited about it than I am concerned about it. Sure, there are some concerns, but I'm more excited. The Time Traveler. The New Threes Company is the name of a show I'm writing about a human living with 2 artificial intelligences.
Nice.
Very, very nice. And as you were talking, Cliff, a thought popped into my head. What's to say that in a few years down the road, and maybe this is happening somewhere in the world and I'm just not aware of, you go to a restaurant and all your waiters and waitresses are robotic.
Oh yeah. I'm talking 5 years.
I'm sure that's probably already
I'm
happening.
talking 5 years.
And maybe, you're right. It could be 5 years, or maybe there's somewhere in the world, maybe Japan, or
Already,
somebody's
currently.
already got,
I'll bet
restaurant
you
like
it's
that.
already happening in
And
places
Paulie,
like Japan.
Just to go back and to say what you were saying, dude, about self-checkouts. Self-checkouts are already obsolete, all right? They're coming out right now with shopping carts that as you put the stuff in the shopping cart, it click, 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 and it checks in.
And you're
checks
done.
out,
That's right. Yeah.
And then you just go out, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I'm telling you what, that's not even the end all be all. Even that's just a step towards the future.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, pretty soon you'll just be able to pull your car up and everything that you ordered on the way there will be
ready.
nicely placed in your trunk.
But it's like,
Right.
you can go to, again, I've talked about, and sorry, Paul, but I've talked about Disney in the past on the show.
Right.
In Disney now, and you can do it all over. So that's another AI thing where you can, pre-order before you go to a fast food restaurant or Starbucks. You can pre-order everything, just walk in, you scan it off your phone, your order's
there it
done,
is,
right?
yeah.
And so those are all things that have been building over the past maybe even 2 years, let's say.
Yeah.
Right?
I just think the it's going to be a problem when a whole bunch of these AI computers take over people's jobs, and I think there's going to be more computer taking over people's jobs and people finding other jobs. For example, you're talking about computerized shopping carts going in and doing it for you and doing the checkout and this, that, and the other thing. Well, you know what? If that in fact happens, who's going to be? There's going to be less people because all the other people aren't going to be able to afford the food to go in because they don't have a job because the computer has taken that from them. And that's what concerns me.
Yes, and you know what, Paulie, in the short term, I have the same fears in the short term. All right, but in the long term, what I'm saying is it goes back to we should have a living wage. All right, let's put this out there. Okay, Now, if what happens if somebody says, okay, well, I don't have to go grocery shopping anymore. Now I have 2 hours in that week that I can do something better with my life.
Right.
If I don't have to drive my damn car, let me tell you something. I love to drive. All right. Anybody who knows me knows that I absolutely love to drive. But you know what I'd like to drive? I'd like to go on a freaking track and get myself a race car and drive the living shit out of it.
Oh,
Okay,
why not?
yeah.
but I tell you what, to drive back and forth to work, no. I would much rather sit in my car and read, okay, and let the computer do the driving. What I'm saying is that AI could elevate the human experience,
Yes.
right?
I don't disagree with that. I'm looking at it from the other. The AI is going to take away a means in which we get funds for our everyday food and
Right.
In the short term,
and our needs,
it
and
probably
that's
will.
what concerns me. That's what concerns me. I have. Hey, I'm with Cliff. I'm with you, man. I'll be in the passenger seat right along with you, reading that book or watching that movie as our car drives us to wherever the heck we want to go. I am in, man. But I'm just concerned about the living wage. What do we do? What do we do now?
But I think it's just a short-term issue, and that will change as AI becomes more prevalent.
Well, how's that
Okay.
going to change, though?
All right, but let's put it this way, Paul. If you need shopping carts that have AI built into them to check your food out, somebody has to build the shopping carts.
Yeah, somebody has to create that code.
There
has
will
to
be
create the
different
code.
jobs. Yeah.
Yes,
right?
Heidi had said earlier on one of her posts, coding will be like the future job. Jesse has popped in here and said, we talked about the same thing about the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
She says also that new jobs will be created as the world
Exactly,
develops.
Jesse.
That's very true.
And
That's very
Heidi,
true.
I'm sorry to disagree with you, but coding will not be the future jobs because the computers are already doing the coding themselves.
Doing it for it, yeah.
They are.
They can do it faster than any humans
Yeah.
can. And basically, you can right now tell a computer what you want it to do, and it'll do the coding for you, right?
Yeah. But you still have to tell that computer what to do.
Right.
So
Still at the moment, right?
at the moment,
But
you still have to.
right.
Eventually, a computer will tell. Well, it's doing it now. Computers can tell each other what
Right.
to do.
They have brains.
and
Yeah.
anticipatory support, right? I mean, I'm telling you something.
Yeah.
A computer, a robot, whatever the case be, could look at you and decipher what your needs are without you even saying anything. Not to even mention Elon Musk currently working on the interface between the human brain and an artificial intelligence.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so much. We got to take one more quick break here, gentlemen, before as we're coming down to about the last 12 minutes in the show.
And I tell you what, just want to say, I love all you listeners. Thank you
We've
so
got
much for
so
joining
many
us.
listeners.
It's brilliant. We love it.
Awesome. We're
That's
gonna
awesome.
Be right back after this.
Do it.
Need a place to find out what's happening in the local and surrounding area arts scene? Tune in to the Arts Talk Show on YouTube. Watch interviews with artists of all genres, on-site segments, upcoming events, and more. Check out our Arts Talk Facebook page. The Arts Talk Street Reporters are putting up new segments on the page on a regular basis. And don't forget to like the page and subscribe to the Arts Talk YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram. Arts Talk, your local show to promote the arts. Don't miss it.
So Jesse says, you're talking about my future husband.
I love it.
So what you're saying, you're going to have a robotic husband there, Jesse.
What she means is she's going to have a good husband.
which is really not very different from her husband now, because her husband now is work, ergo her computer. That's how it goes with Jesse now.
See, Shauna just said that Elon should supply the Muse with cars. You know what, Shauna? I couldn't agree with you more. Could you slam the Podlie podcast
Yes.
in there
Let's bring
somewhere?
some Teslas. There
Absolutely.
are some around the city for sure, but we should see a few more.
Could you make mine sunshine yellow, please?
Sunshine. Yeah, I'll make mine black. Black is the ace of spades.
Yeah, Shauna says, Jesse, tell your future husband to give them used cars. Yes. Yeah. And that's growing, even when you look at that as well, right? Because, his cars are growing in technology. Now you can get, most of them will run up to 400 to 500 kilometers on a charge.
On a charge.
Yeah.
Or slightly more.
Yeah.
Which is good because there are parking lots that have charging stations in them. There's still not a lot.
Not a lot.
So you'd hate to be on the highway with only, 50 kilometers
50
or 40
clicks.
kilometers left on your charge, and all of a sudden, I got nowhere to plug in.
That's right. Speaking of cars, right, and speaking of electrical cars,
Yeah.
the batteries in electrical cars are terribly environmentally unsound. And the mining of the chemicals and materials that go into these batteries are often done by the poorest of poor in countries around the world.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so think about it. Think about if we could actually create robots, unfeeling and destroyable robots that can take that over, right?
Yeah.
Well, that would be brilliant.
Well, yeah,
That'd be
of course
brilliant.
would be brilliant,
That's
right?
Star Wars.
That'd be
That's Star
brilliant.
Wars, right? Okay, but now if we talk about ethics, right? If they become, in the Star Trek world, if they become sentient, which of course Heidi probably says they won't, and I might agree, then no problem. But if they do become sentient, now it becomes an ethical issue to put them in danger.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're
Right.
putting our kids
Right.
in danger.
Right.
Right. Well, Shauna suggests that maybe they move the Edmonton Muse to Mars. And Jessie says, I'm going to move to Mars with her husband, or whomever that is.
Shauna, the Mars Muse.
Yes.
She says the Mars
Muse has a nice ring to it.
Nice.
Well, that could very well be. You can really branch out, actually.
Yeah, he can be your rocket man.
You could be on Mars, you could be on the moon, who knows?
That is an intergalactic decision and idea right
When
there,
are you
Shauna.
gonna come down? When are you gonna land?
Shauna says, yeah, but Data was a nice guy.
He really was, though, right,
Yeah,
Sean?
he
I
was.
mean, Data was a cool guy.
He was a very nice guy. He was a little pale. Yeah. But he was a nice guy.
He had those jaundiced eyes.
Yeah, it's just something wrong with his eyes. Yeah, but he was a nice guy.
Jaundiced eyes. I mean, really.
I'm sorry, was he in Star Wars?
Ouch.
I kill you twice.
But it's been an interesting topic tonight. It's one of those topics
Yeah.
which
What I like about it is another
Great conversation.
another Monty Python. I think it's a Monty Python quote where he says, clarity is everywhere, but where is the ambiguity? It's right here. The ambiguity is where AI is going and how it's going to affect the
it's
world.
that AI that's right in front of our face
Right
on
in
an
front of our
ongoing
face.
basis, daily basis.
Daily basis.
Yes. Shauna says gasp.
Gasp. I tell you what, I am hopeful, but I am optimistically hopeful and cautiously optimistic or something like that.
Little scary because my 7-year-olds and my 6-year-old AI the hell out of me right now. I tell you, they are very good already. Very good already with computers and with, they know exactly what coding is and they do it and they, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what's happening. So.
Coding is beneath the human experience. No, I'm kidding. I am kidding. I am
Don't
kidding.
tell that to a 7-year-old.
Dude, I am so kidding.
That's the secret code.
No, coding is awesome, and I tell you what, coding is indeed the future, at least for the next 20-odd years.
Yeah, I'm snickering again because Time Travelers jumped in with AI's most accurate representation on film has been Herbie the Love Bug. And you know what? You watch that film, look at Herbie.
Herbie
Herbie the Love Bug, right?
Love Herbie.
Wally.
Jesse says in capital letters, to the future, point fingers in the air and shouts at the sky. I could hear you. We could hear you all the way out here, Jesse.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey,
Yeah, Heidi, that strong opinion was strictly joking. But I tell you what, in future, coding will be the domain of the computers. So
yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, they already are to a great extent, but it will be all computers coding computers.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
hey,
Of that I have no doubt.
AI may take over our podcasts.
Yeah.
Why should we sit here? We won't need to.
They'd
sit
probably
here and
be
do
a lot
podcast.
funnier than we would be.
It'll be done through artificial intelligence.
Yeah, we'll just that'd be cool.
Be artificial Cliff, artificial Bill, and artificial Paul.
And we'll be the podliest of all podliest artificials, I guess.
There you go.
I guess. Yeah. Wow.
Shauna, to infinity and beyond,
Yes.
Shauna says.
Heidi, no.
No what? No what, Heidi? No what?
I like your picture, Heidi. It's Wally.
Wally. Eva.
So, rounding it up, what do we say yay or nay to AI and what is happening right now and where it's going? Do we say yay or nay?
As I've said earlier in the show, I'm yay. I'm fully excited about it. Do I have some concerns? Yes, but the excitement far outweighs the concerns for me.
Yeah.
What about you there, Cliff?
I don't know about the yay or nay. I don't know if I live in such a black and white world, to be honest with you. I think part of me says, a gigantic part of me says yes, only because I think of what the potential would be if we humans were freed up from the mundane, from the daily minutia of life. If we were freed from that, I think I think we could do some great things in the world.
And I guess it's really hard, I guess, to your question, Paul, to really, you're right, Cliff, to say yay or nay, because it's here. It's
here.
It's in our face.
Yeah,
we can't really say yes or no to it. It's here.
It's
happening.
We're dealing with it whether we like it or not.
A time traveler says dogs do rule the world for a period of 209 years. What? Those robotic dogs? Where I like them from?
I like Shauna's little ditty there. Dada, you can drive. You sing it with me. I won't sing it, but everybody else sing it with me. Dada, you can drive my car. I'm gonna be a star. Dada, you could drive my car, and Dada, I love you. So you guys sing it. You know the song, I'm sure. But
Dada, you can drive my car.
All right. Well, we're down to 5
Yes,
minutes
I'm
already,
gonna
guys.
be a star.
We got 5 minutes left in this show.
Hey, what are we doing next week?
I think next week we had talked last show about possibly talking about 80s music and its kind of influence on the whole music world. And I know, that was one thought. It might be a bit of an open topic night, but maybe we'll discuss a bit about 80s music as well. And
well, I mean, I'll refresh my memory by going up a lot of elevators because it's all elevator music now. God killed me.
I was at a meeting earlier this afternoon with Sound Lab out here in Sherwood Park, and Christine, one of the owners, I can't remember exactly what we were speaking about, but I mentioned 80s music, and she almost jumped out of her chair. She said, I love 80s music.
Yeah.
And she's a bass player.
Cool.
So... Yeah,
a flock of seagulls coming. A flock of seagulls coming. That's a concert. I can't believe
I didn't see any fly over.
Did
Did you see any seagulls fly over?
A flock of seagulls coming.
I didn't feel
it's
any
a concert in August. I want to say.
Yeah.
I didn't feel a flock of eagles.
A flock of seagulls.
A flock of seagulls.
The Duran Duran show last year was interesting at best.
Yeah,
at best.
So maybe those are some things we'll talk about next week for sure. And again, thank you to all of our listeners here tonight. Wow.
Look at Shauna. She says 80s is golden oldies. Now that means we're old. But golden though.
And the time traveler brought this up when we talked about about the 1880s. The time traveler loves 1880s music.
Well, that's only because he likes Richards.
1880s music.
That's only because he likes Keith Richards. That's the only reason he likes the 1880s.
Which heavy metal bands were in the 1880s?
Well, man, I don't know.
Good question.
Vivaldi strings. I don't know.
Led Zeppelin were babies.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of disappointed that Marvin didn't join in tonight because just a couple of days ago it was his birthday.
That's true. It was.
I was going to sing him happy birthday tonight.
His birthday?
Darn it! Yeah,
Was recently.
I did. I saw some posts on social media about that.
So Marvin,
must
you didn't
have
join us tonight. I'm sure you will be with us next week. But
Must have
happy
missed
birthday
it, Marvin,
to you.
on social media, but we wish you all the best, man.
Marvin is one of our tried, tested, and true weekly contributors.
Weekly pals.
Maybe he's
on
playing
here.
pool too.
God love him.
Likes to play pool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to our listeners, hey, you want to tune in next week and give us your thoughts about 80s music.
And you guys hate topics, not that we stick to any topic.
No.
I think today we kind of stuck to the topic a little bit, which is the first time. Normally we just go kind of,
We're
we're all over
morphers.
the place normally.
yeah.
We're morphers.
We're more first. What's your language?
I know.
Freaking morpher.
Yeah. KFD.
KFD. Yeah, I got to tell my brother-in-law about that.
KFD.
Yeah, my brother-in-law calls KFC, which is Kentucky Fried Chicken. He calls it KFD. You figure it out.
Figure that out.
Just know that the F and the D are both four-letter words. Just saying.
All right, we're down to about a minute and a half ballpark left.
Okay,
in
I'm
the
just
show.
going to read the top there. The
Yeah.
listeners there, it says Cliff Smith, Shauna, Heidi, Horseman Domain, etc. Thank you to all of us, including us.
Absolutely.
Time Traveler,
Absolutely.
Jesse Toms. We've got some St.
Some
Elsewhere listeners.
St. Elsewheres.
Yeah, this has been a great show, and the fact that all of you tuned in tonight. Make sure to tune in next week. And Cliff, it's that time.
It's
And
that
bring a
time.
friend next week, you guys. Bring a friend next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, and all the other fine people listening to this, if you're hearing this live, such as you guys here, or if you're hearing this later, listen, please do go to the Facebook page. This is the promotion right here. Go to the Facebook page, give us a like, and if you can, do share the page. If you like this podcast, Well, even if you don't like it, please do share it. All right? You have no friends. Shauna says, I have no friends. Shauna, count me in, dude. You and I will be against the world, okay?
And yes, Heidi, we will see you at Arts Talk tomorrow. You bet.
So
And-
please do share the page,
Yeah.
share the podcast, and listen, we really appreciate your support. I can't even articulate how much we appreciate your support. Thank you.
And as Cliff has said, listen live or listen later.
Listen
we're
live
we're
or
on
listen
all
later.
of the major podcast sites,
betcha.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Radio Public. We're on them all. So download
Podlie,
us from wherever- You bet.
Podlie.
Podlie Podcast. Download us from wherever you would like.
Nice.
And binge.
Binge!
Listen to all 18 episodes
All
at once.
18.
Do it.
Yeah, you got to do that.
It's
All
a
right,
Podlie
everybody.
marathon.
Stay happy.
We'll be back next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Make sure to join us. It's been fun. See y'all.
See ya.